So yeah, elections coming up in February, and they decide to have a debate yesterday, and then people showed up.
Some didn't show up.
Some kind of showed up.
Halfway through.
Some would have showed up completely, but decided not to because the other person didn't show up. So basically, does that even affect the elections, to be honest?
In my own opinion, first of all, I kind of have the opinion that the presidential debates really don't matter. And why I say that is because if you look at the candidates that showed up and those that didn't show up, you could see that those who really needed it didn't show. And so it speaks a lot to whether or not they respect the presidential debate.
And to be honest, right, I wasn't expecting Buhari to be there from the very beginning.
I think a lot of us didn't expect him
If
to
he
show.
came, I would have been surprised, actually.
Would he have gained your respect if he came? No, don't
So
say...
truth is, so this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying this because, I'm not supporting anybody. I'm going to be very factual. To the best of to the little knowledge that I have, the way this whole thing works is the president would have a calendar of how he's going to run his whole administrative year.
Yeah.
Basically. So this whole debate thing came up along the line. Right? So if you're going to say that you're going to fixing something into the president's already busy schedule, if it is something that he can find time for, hey, all well and good. If not, there's really nothing you can do about it. Because I was actually following his Twitter page yesterday to see if there was going to be any update.
Let me. It's part of the campaign strategy. Usually, in more advanced countries, sorry to say, presidential debates are booked for because they know.
Yeah, but this is the first time we are having something like this.
Yeah, and that's the more reason why he needs to be there because now he's under fire.
His presidential calendar has already been set. What he's going to do in the next 4 years, every day has already been set. So you now bring in something in one day and trying to fix it into his schedule. It might not be possible. We should leave room for that.
That is understandable. But
I don't even think they would allow the debate to come up if all the candidates haven't agreed on, okay, yeah, this is possible, I can do this time. I guess they would have run it by all of them, yeah. Especially the person as the sitting president, because like his own presence is most
well, for crying out loud, one of the candidates who seems to be like the direct opposition came. For him to have showed up, it means that he himself had prior knowledge that the president might show up. Because he left. He didn't stay because the president didn't come. So there's a sort of information that had been passed to say, okay, the president is going to come.
I mean, I think it was in US.
It was in US.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. For him to have showed up means that he had gotten prior information that it seems the president might come.
I don't think. Why is he coming because of the president? He should come and debate his debate.
Does it count? Like, does it affect their elections? The fact that they didn't show up or anything?
Okay.
Or even if they did show up, will it affect the elections?
Okay.
That's actually very.
That's why I asked the first question. Looking at the Osun elections. Is it Osun elections?
Which one?
Where they had a governorship debate. Shore.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they did. They did on channels as well. Yes. Yes. Adeleke didn't show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he didn't show. And at that point, he had like the wave.
Yeah.
The Davido's support, the whole thing. He had like the wave. And when the elections came, he still had a high score. He didn't come for the debate.
Wait, so I'm hearing different story. Who actually won the election? Was it Adeleke or the other guy?
Adeleke wasn't in the election. Wasn't at the election. Didn't come for it. Omishori came.
No, not the debate. The election. Who actually won?
Was the APC candidates that won.
Oh, okay. So why is PDP crying foul? Not like they wouldn't need.
Yeah, of course they want to cry foul. Of course, because so I think what happened was Omishori. Omishori was third. So what they did is, lobbying, blah blah blah. They got Omishori to support APC.
Yeah.
So he brought his own numbers,
and
by the time they did the second or the rerun or whatever they did,
they did a rerun.
Not a real rerun, but they did I think they said there were places where there were
we are going too far. Back to
that presidential governorship debate. I don't think it had so much effect at the end of the day. That governorship debate didn't have so much effect. So going back to this now, everybody generally.
I think it did have an effect. Look at the Lagos debate. Nobody knew Gbadamosi until after then, and after the debate, a lot of people are now
is it going to
crying.
change anything? Is it going to change any about?
No, see, a
It
lot
was
of
based on the debate now.
Yeah,
for Lagos
exactly.
governorship.
He won
election.
clearly. He is the candidate.
Yeah,
Emerge.
but now there's an outlook of people who are going to vote and who they're probably going to vote for. If a lot of people actually have their PVCs and going by the debate, people would most likely vote for Mr. Gbadamosi.
Let me now chip in something there. Before Gbadamosi came for that debate, I never heard about him. I've heard about his estate, the Yemen estate.
Seen his
but-
campaign from the very beginning.
Okay, I have not even heard of him. I've not seen. I don't even know what party he belongs to be honest
I
with you.
don't know his
I've not
been
seen.
hearing of. I didn't even know he was.
When you get to the election ballot, when you get to the election
SDP,
ballot,
yeah.
when you get to that ballot box,
It's the party
usually
you
it's the
see.
party you see. I don't know the party he belongs
Yeah,
to.
but now thanks to the debates that has happened.
Yes,
so now if you're going
I
to
agree.
vote, who would you vote for? Of
I
course,
agree,
the person
but-
who performed well at the debate.
But
And I
henceforth,
I believe it has
what other
stats
things?
for how many people watched that debate?
There is no. Oh,
No,
they didn't do.
funny enough, because it is YouTube, we can't get the stats on YouTube. Because
No,
YouTube is live view. You just see how many people watch.
Yeah, you can see the statistics of
But
how many
for
people watched
channels,
it.
I don't know if...
It was also
they
live
have-
streamed, I guess.
Yeah, on channels, but you know, YouTube now will let you know how many people are viewing this.
Yeah.
Who is this person that just parked here?
It's Nigeria. I love the country, man. I love
Oh,
us.
there! Wow.
I love
You know
us.
what? Let me just move forward to... We're not going to have any
But
issues
but
later on,
not
but
before we
digress.
channels usually have stats as well. No, I know how many people tuned in.
And they
can tell.
know it's what
But
I
they
think
didn't
what is
show it
asking
out.
is something that will be
How
for
many people
public
from
basis.
Lagos?
Yeah, all those kind of things. They don't. Yeah, those are the
How
kind
many
of
people
stats.
from the place that actually has.
So you can use that to now compare against the votes in case there's any dilly-dally. Well, anyway, that doesn't really matter. So from my own personal opinion, you know, based on the people who came for the debates, the presidential debates, I think my best bet would be Ezekwesili. Judging by the debate, I think she would be the best person to emerge as president. Why? Because she delivered her points in a very presidential way. Fela Drotoye was stammering. It was.
Okay, so before you begin to wash him down, I'm going. Yeah, not wash him down, but
I'm just talking
everybody knows that he made a mistake on TV in the context that his delivery was not there.
But I'm telling you why I feel Ezekwesili is the best candidate
Okay.
based on the debate. You know, Fela was stammering. He didn't seem sure of his points. He was always going around to beat the bush to try to motivate. He was answering questions like a motivational speaker. See, while I'm not
He's going
trying
to
to
suffer for his work.
while I'm not trying to wash, you know, or you know, belittle his credibility. For you to be president, it's not. Since it's not something you have done before. It goes beyond everything you know. So you can't be bringing things that you know and wanting to apply. It can't work. You need to look for a way to go beyond what you already know.
What do you think about Moghalu?
Moghalu was emotional. He was too emotional. I get that, you know, you are angry, you feel disrespected, you know, you feel, you know, you're angry with the way the things of the country is going, but still you were too emotional. You know, he was angry. That means in a situation whereby his government is under so many pressure, you know, there's the opposition party not letting his bills or some of his policies go. He would be too emotional. He wouldn't be able to deliver policies on a very logical
But we have
mindset.
also seen
Which
seen
is
Ezekwesili
which is
emotional
but as at the debate
institutions.
yesterday,
Yes.
I'm talking based on the debate yesterday.
Okay.
I'm not talking about it. But Ezekwesili yesterday answered questions based on her experience.
Are you
in
going to vote
politics.
strictly based on the presidential debate?
No, we are judging if we are talking about the debates now,
Okay.
right? If we are going to go by the debates,
Yeah.
Now I'm not talking about their performance or what they can do, but based on the debate and what I watched,
Okay.
Ezekwesili out.
Okay, I think everybody would
Shone,
agree that
outshine,
yes,
whatever
she
English you want to
killed
use,
it.
all of
But
them.
Moghalu, okay, so I've heard more from Moghalu than Ezekwesili in the context that Moghalu has always spoken about his policies. He has always
Have
gone
you
for-
ever been to job interview before?
Yes, I have.
So basically, you know, even though you look very impressive on paper, they will tell you to, you know, be monitored.
Yes.
So they want to see what you can do. So all of them are.
Some jobs are not majorly about how well you can speak. In the context that, for example, Fela Drotoye, he has been in this, okay, so he has gone
He's
for
a
other
speakist.
debates. He's an expert.
All
in
he
it.
does is
and yes, he didn't do so well. But generally, listen to yesterday, policies were asked about. Many
I'm not
people-
saying he will not
What I'm
deliver
saying-
as a president. Though.
What I'm even saying, beyond what I'm saying is that some jobs are less about how well you can speak and more about your policies.
That's what I'm saying.
So
But based on the debate yesterday, because that's what we're talking about. Now, I don't know which one of them will be the best candidate during the election or which one of them would actually change Nigeria. But judging by the debate yesterday...
Okay, my question, let me even beyond the debate now. Okay, plus the debate. What does Nigeria really need? That's the first question I'm trying to think in my head. What do we need as a leader? Do we need somebody? Yeah. Do we need somebody who has vast economical understanding?
Nigeria needs to scatter, break down.
Well, I'm on the positive side. I don't know about him. I don't know.
Even when I say scatter, it has to go with, taking out all the old people in government, starting out fresh, basically. There's positive in what I'm saying also.
But
starting out fresh, you can't use the same old technique to try and solve same problem.
But politics doesn't work that way, because it's not like it's a democracy. You can't switch off somebody else's light, switch off and say everybody go out. It's everybody stays.
I read something today. The Parliament of Burkina Faso and Prime Minister, they all resigned.
Yeah.
The whole Parliament. Everybody resigned today.
Nigeria is a unique nation. Like even when somebody has been caught stealing in government,
Nigeria's major problem, I personally feel, is that we are too big for one person to handle.
We're not. Nah. That's a country. That I don't agree. There are countries that are way bigger than us.
Okay.
America is way bigger than us.
How many ethnic groups do they have?
America is bigger than us. China is bigger than us. India is bigger than us.
How many ethnic groups do they have? We have over 300 ethnic groups.
China is not...
We all don't speak the same language.
China has different cultures.
It's not up to 300. Nigeria has the largest in the world. We have 300 people speaking different languages. Is that the reason why our
economy is not working?
Yes.
That can be the reason why.
First of all, logically, if somebody is speaking to me and I don't understand what this person is saying, we can't communicate. Therefore, we can't transact. Therefore, we can't cohabit. We can't live together.
In China, there are people who can't speak Mandarin.
How many languages do they have in China?
They have Mandarin. They have they have local languages which I'm not well informed about.
It is not up to 300. You're not getting what I'm saying.
I get your point, but language cannot be the barrier.
Language is a major barrier.
Everybody speaks money.
No,
everybody
language is a major barrier in anything to thrive, because if you don't understand yourself, you can't progress.
Okay, so before Nigeria became what it is now, there was a time when they used to say that Naira was equal to dollar. Pound, thank you. And the economy was working. Yeah. People were traveling, all that. Yeah. And at that point, we still had the same amount of languages we had at that time.
Nope.
Yes, we did.
Nope. A lot of states in Nigeria were created in
but the languages still remained.
No.
Are you saying some languages just formed?
A lot of states in Nigeria were created in the early 1990s. Yes. Some 1980s. Nigeria has been existing 1960.
But those languages existed.
Before now, they were major ethnic groups.
Yes.
Based on development, they were broken down to minor ethnic groups.
My point is...
Look at Yoruba now, for example. Yeah. How many Yoruba do we have? We have Ijebu. We have so many Ijebus, first of all.
Were those diversities created after the breakdown, or they existed
they were
even
all
as a group?
Under one umbrella before? That's what I'm saying, that they were major ethnic groups before.
Yes.
Now that they have all individualized and broken down into minor ethnic groups. All of this is the issue that we are having, because first of all, we have the presidential seats, people saying, it's the Northerners' turn, it's the Igbo man's turn, it's the Yoruba man's turn. First of all, this one alone, in a situation whereby the economy of the country is unified, we shouldn't be having all these things. Mogalu raised a very valid point. He said, are we a country or a nation? I agree with him on that, and he said we are not a nation because we don't agree. We are not unified.
Okay, so
we need somebody who would be able to look. Maybe we need a white president.
Well, let's not look for trouble. Let's not look for trouble. We've been through that already, one way or the other. Let's not look for trouble.
I think we're good then.
Well, not good. Colonization.
Things were better than now.
Yeah, they were not as though. It was just that now, greed of us, but colonization wasn't great. Now, what I'm trying to even say is, if Nigeria has a working economy, right? Let's say we have a president now. Let's say the way Buhari came in, all the promises that were made were literally fulfilled. The economy was working. Do you think we would care about that? That is Hausa or Yoruba?
This is where I would defend Buhari on that. Buhari's number 3 is a PDP man.
Yeah. We all know that's political.
A lot of people that are actively against Buhari
Okay.
are PDP people. Most of these people are lawmakers.
Yeah.
And because of a democracy, if a president passes a bill, if a certain percentage of the lawmakers don't agree to it, the bill will not be passed and it will be delayed.
Yes.
And nobody wants to care whether the lawmakers are delaying or not. It all falls back to the president. When Buhari became president, it took a while before the budget was passed.
Now all
It
that
took a while before he picked ministers.
yeah.
Why? Because his government did not go as he planned. You know, there were debates about the budget has this, the budget doesn't have this.
Yeah.
There was all these things is lawmakers. And why? Because Orobo Oyera were opposition party, people from different ethnic groups. When the president was appointing ministers, they were saying he's putting his kingsmen, he's putting his brothers, he's putting his sisters. Who were the people saying it's people who are not from his own tribe? You know, this is part of the diversification that I'm talking about, that we are not unified. This is because they don't speak the same language, therefore they don't agree with him. You know, now election is coming up. There are people from the East saying, you know, they did not take permission from them. You know, it is the East's turn to rule the nation. You know, the Northerners are saying no, they are not going to allow it. Things like this. This is politics. You shouldn't be putting culture and tradition into most of all these things. Judging by the 1999 Constitution is what we should be going by, not any other thing. But no, because Nigeria is too big for everybody to hear what everybody's doing, what they feel they need. I mean, we have people like Dino Menelaye, a sitting senator, doing the charades that he's doing, and he has not gotten away with it. And he has gotten away with it.
Funny enough, the irony is that I feel like Dino Menelaye is in the perfect position to impact a lot. Why? Because he literally has a voice now in the house, though it's a noisy voice. But if he literally picked up 3 bills and truthfully, honestly followed
that one
those
is if he's somebody that knows what he's doing.
he would accomplish a lot of
That
things.
one is if he knows what he's doing.
I'm just saying on my own.
But he does not know what. Most of them don't even know why they are there. They are just there because.
No, they are collecting pension. They're collecting
No,
better
they are
pension.
there because they feel, you know, once you've worked for a certain period of
I mean,
time.
the way it works in other countries where you can even see the laws or certain things that lawmakers vote for or vote against. If we had that kind of transparency in Nigeria too, that could also help in a way, in the sense that you see they're talking about child rights, a bill for child rights, and you see the lawmakers who are voting against giving children an opportunity to maybe, for example, be protected against predators and stuff like that. You would know that, okay, this senator or this lawmaker is against this. Therefore, if he's coming out in elections and saying, oh, I support better lives for our children, you'll be able to point back to this opportunity that he had to pass or to vote for a bill that was defending that he failed to do. You get, like, most of our people aren't really accountable. Yeah?
No, they're not.
And the constituents don't even ever hold them accountable.
Okay, so
Like many of them in their locales, that's where they win the elections. But they go to Abuja and that's it. People never see them till the next election year. And then they come out and then people will just gather, collect money, and they'll probably vote the same person in again. Typically, the people you should vote to represent your people are the people who are available and know the struggles that you people have in your constituency.
who have policies to help.
In your constituency. Those people that in their capacities, even before they became lawmakers, were making a difference. Those are the people that you should be voting in to represent you, because they were already representing you before they had that platform as a lawmaker or as a representative of your constituency. But people, I think that education about election and what people are, what these lawmakers actually can be responsible for or held accountable for, should be made known to the people, especially the masses, a whole lot more. Because most of the middle class and everything, they can cater for themselves, or they rather depend on individuality. Okay, let me be able to take care of myself. But the people that really feel the pressures of these things the most are the masses, who make up the bulk of the voters, even during elections.
Which is why,
and they are the ones that need that knowledge the most, so that they can really put people that represent them well.
Which is why social media commenting and all the chatters we have on Twitter doesn't really count, because I realize that
the ones that are voting.
Because
masses
they
are now on social media.
Come
Have you ever
election,
gone
most
to?
of all these people are not going to show up to vote.
Have you ever been to?
during the
ordinary
APC,
newspaper
what made me
stand
laugh is
before?
during the APC presidential governorship party elections for who was going to come between Ambode and Sanwo-olu. A lot of us on social media were like Ambode. But when it was time to vote, all of us on social media were at work.
See, there's something called mandate. You know what the
We were
mandate
all at
is?
work.
You know what the mandate
We
is?
didn't come out to vote.
You know what the mandate is?
Of course, yeah, that's party mandate.
The people that we, those are the people gone that they were used to vote. It is the mandate that we go and bring the number of people.
So it's like, it's not really, they don't really care about everybody. People will talk. I
I mean,
mean,
even in the campaigns, who are the people that are going for the campaign?
Where have I ever
See
been
you
to
in
a
your
convention?
office.
exactly.
Do I have a party card?
You're literally just talking. And
I don't
the truth
have
is,
a party
you
card,
talking is
honestly.
not going to make anything work. Everybody is saying they want this, they want that, they're tired of this, they want that, but they're not actually effectively or proactively doing anything to make it work. Bank it
Nigeria
up, big you.
wants to really move forward. People need to be actively doing something. Look at Cardi B, for example. Cardi B doesn't really care about much in her life. But when she was saying...
she cares
people-
about the child. She cares about her baby.
No, she cares about stuff, but like no, she doesn't care about much.
I get the
Especially
point.
not politics. It does not concern her in any way as a person. As in, I'm not saying it doesn't affect her, it influences her life, yeah. But she as a person doesn't really care about it.
Yeah.
But then she saw people, probably housekeepers and people with family, relatives that were going to work and were not getting paid.
Yeah.
And then she came on social media where she has a huge following of people, normal people, who, and she was venting, like talking about what she really imagined, like why are people being forced to go back to work when they're not even getting paid?
And she just said it from a normal
And this
person's
is a
point of
celebrity.
view.
For example, how many Nigerian celebrities would do that when they see something wrong going on? And then what did Cardi B say? She said she really doesn't know what to do. This person owned up to saying that, okay, she doesn't have the ideas to try and see how she can help in this situation, but you people can pitch in ideas. And that's where people come in. And this
But
is what
the whole,
other people in
I
our
too
society in Nigeria
know.
This is what we don't do.
I too know over Sabi we kill
What-
everybody.
what-
Everybody feels they need to have an opinion.
And personal interest, because where were all these celebrities, for example, or where are they, or where do you find them during all this election year? They pitch their tent with people that they
Yeah,
don't
because they want to make money.
I mean, the
They
one person
perform,
that
they have to
would them
perform.
awards that
the
they
one
do not
person,
merit.
the one person that decided to voice out, everybody's bashing him on social media, picking up on one particular thing that does not really matter. You know, transactional sex is not the bulk of the album. He was saying
Just
things
speaking
from,
on the topic.
he was just talking about basically the situation of the country. You know, but no, people decided to focus on other
social media
trivial
will
things.
say, is it your transactional sex? They would always try and drive it to the point that why are you hammering on it? People are feeding off of it, blah 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 blah. But I realize it's something. Anytime somebody speaks up about a topic in Nigeria that it's actually something we should speak about, we always try to avoid it as long as it does not touch me.
But don't just speak. You know, speak, and then when you speak, you'd have people who also agree with you.
Yeah.
Now go further and connect with those people, and you people push a cause. A cause. There was a girl, for example. I'm trying to remember what it was that was her problem. I think. Okay, yeah. Somebody was taking pictures of her underwear, like right under her skirt and everything.
Whoa.
And then she wanted to press charges. And then she found out that there were not laws there that made it seem like a crime. And she was upset about that. And then she started championing that cause. She pushed for a bill
to make that happen.
That will make it actually a crime. And now it is going to be passed into law.
Yeah, but
and that is what we are expecting here now.
But that legal system works. What I mean by that legal system works is there's an avenue for you to actually push for that bill. In Nigeria, how long did it take for the not too young to vote bill?
We're talking too far. Look at the girl that wore hijab.
Yeah.
And, you know, she wanted to graduate, and then they told her that she needed to take the hijab off her. She said according to her own belief, she doesn't let that happen. A few weeks down the line, you know, she took it up, and then it happened.
Yeah, once it's religious, Nigerians jump on that.
No, I don't think so. No, I actually think if there are certain things that you're passionate about and you go through it the right way, it will look at the end SARS too. It ended, you know, the government decided to come up and do something.
All those things are things that affect everybody personally.
And that's what I'm saying now. If you come up with a bill,
individual bills as to what he just said.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of times Nigerians, because it does not concern them personally.
But it affects people, so it's taking a step.
Speak and you find people who agree with you, who also
Definitely
feel that you should do this.
In as much as we think,
collectively make a move.
in as much
to
as
make
we
a change.
think, Nigeria is what it is, and then it is a failed country. Things actually work, but we just don't put in effort.
Let's not use the word like things work. Things manage. Nigerians have a way of surviving.
Somebody said something, or maybe someone tweeted it. I can't really remember. Talking about don't vote. Your votes don't count and everything. And somebody said,
vote for somebody.
If your votes
who
don't
is from
count,
PDP
these politicians will be
the
begging
count
you for
of
it.
Me voting for somebody in SDP wouldn't count.
That's a mentality right now.
You cannot.
That is a major problem.
You can't use sentimentality to vote politics. I mean, that's why we are here today. A lot of people voted for Buhari because they were tired of Jonathan. Not everybody calmed down to, see his manifesto, see if he could actually deliver. But just because they were tired of Jonathan, they said, you know what, we are going to vote him and let's vote Buhari. And it's the same thing they want to do again.
Well. When it comes to Buhari, like Buhari sold us on fighting
No, that's what I'm
corruption.
saying. No, that's
and
what
we
I'm
all
saying.
knew that.
Now that Buhari is in, people are saying they wish, Jonathan had stayed.
Those ones are,
no, that's what I'm saying. Just because they were
not.
sentimental back then, they did not really calm down. I'm not saying voting for Buhari was a bad idea, even though some people would agree voting for Buhari was a bad idea. But that's the same thing you're doing now. You might not vote for somebody else tomorrow, and then it becomes worse. And all of you will now start saying, "Oh, Buhari would have been a better option. He would have stayed." Meanwhile, you can avoid all these things if you read in any of all these candidates' manifesto, go through their track record, see which one of them you think is the best place, and find a way to hold them accountable if they don't deliver.
Okay, so
vote them out in the next 4 years.
Okay, so from what we're saying now, I'm looking at it from this perspective of we had 3 people show up, 3 or 4 people yesterday. 3 people show up at the presidential debate.
Actually, no, there are more than 5 because the Showore.
No, the Showore wasn't there.
No. There are 5 that were picked, but there are other presidential candidates.
Okay, so we have there are 5 other minus the 2 that didn't come.
Why did 10 presidential? How many presidents? Why do we have more? A lot of people want to do
president. Yeah, supposed to. It's a free society. My point being, we need to look away from if everybody in Nigeria says, okay, so yesterday was a typical example of who we need to vote for in the context that whether or not it's 10 people that show up, whether it's 100 people that show up to watch it, if you love the nation enough, you will show up, you will speak. Because it's as good as winning 5 people, is as good as winning 1 million people. Those 5 people also matter.
But should we be honest with you? Buhari is still maintaining his stance as president today because he didn't show up. A lot of people know that he's not an erudite man.
Yes.
He's not one to, do so well at a public speaking and all that. But would this be a criteria to judge a president? Because the truth is, Buhari came yesterday and all these small intellectual people will floor him. Definitely, a lot of people will say he is not in the right place to be president. And the truth is, this man has been head of state. This man has been head of state before.
Yeah.
When he was much younger, when he was more agile, this man is close to 80. We need to understand that this man is old. Somebody tweeted something that maybe he has amnesia.
That excuse.
I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm not saying it's an excuse. Somebody tweeted something that he's old and frail and then he forgets and all those things. Personally, I don't think Buhari wants to go back to run. I think he's tired. I think he wants to retire like a normal old man, spend time with his family, his grandkids, take care of his farmland and his cows and all those things. But because of the way the country is set up, letting power fall into the opposition party, these people know themselves, right? They know who is going to do what and what. Everybody knows that if PDP should enter now, it's going to be a vendetta on APC. They are going to try and ruin things. They may not work. People know that. But I think the reason why they still want Buhari to still stay, is because they don't want power to fall into PDP, because they don't think PDP will do a very good job. I
agree with that.
I don't think Buhari would finish his next 4 years if he wins. He's going to be 80. He probably would not be as active. I mean, people who know him personally might say otherwise. They might say he's as active as ever, but I'm just saying from a distance. I don't know him. I'm talking.
Okay, so the point I was trying to make is agreeing with you, and it goes back to saying that can we vote them out? If all of us, we watch the presidential debate, in the hearts of our hearts, we know that there are other candidates that will do a better job. So why exactly are we making excuses of you know, it's PDP, you know, it's APC. Why can't we all say, okay, so let's be honest with ourselves, right? If everybody carries these PVCs and goes out to vote for whoever their candidate they feel is better, not based on sentiment of, you know, there is APC that is in power. No, we all go and, for crying out loud, Trump pulled off one of the most, I don't even know what the word to use for it, but surprising, because he went against the system. He went against the typical system and he won. Why? Because he was out of the box. It wasn't what they expected. I mean, he said he had major support because, yes, they needed something different, and that's what he came with. Make America Great Again is one statement where, yes, it's racial, it's everything, but he was different from the box. It was different from the system.
You know why Trump won? He said what people wanted to hear. He attacked problems that people wanted to hear, and he won. The opposition party didn't do the same thing, which is what PDP.
The opposition party was doing what you call
they were trying to
talking.
No, they were being
politically correct.
They were trying to undermine the Trump, basically, that he cannot work.
The thing is, all of them were trying to be politically correct.
Yeah.
That's all they were doing. But Trump, people were trying a political conversation,
and that's what Trump did.
Yes, and he won. So my point being,
Buhari isn't trying to be a politician.
At the
he's
same
not
time,
playing by their rules.
Yes,
I don't think he has
politics is still being played on.
I don't think he has ever been
politics is still being played. My point being, now
that contested was not like 3 times before this particular.
Yeah,
contest
from
in president.
2007 or 2009.
So that those contests enough. Please.
Come on.
He would have built up his politics.
His policies, everything.
Strength.
Yes, he needed that. He needed political support. So now, if we all, I wish we would all say and tell ourselves the truth.
The truth is, I actually wish we had a better opposition candidate.
I actually think we do. We just don't want to. Mogalu, right? We, no matter how much we want to water down Mogalu, Mogalu is, if all fingers were equal, Mogalu is a qualified candidate.
Why? Because
economically, of course. Have you seen his CV?
What's the CV apart from being deputy governor for 5 years?
Business school, Harvard Business School.
Yeah.
He has. You know how many years he has? What Nigeria even needs is him. What Nigeria actually needs is somebody who understands the economy.
His only knowledge is in finance.
We heard him talking about.
What I'm saying, the problem of Nigeria is economy.
We heard him talking about
diversification of the economy.
He doesn't know.
It's not just the economy.
It's not just.
Economy? Why is there a problem with the economy? Insecurity is also part of the thing.
Yes, Buhari. Okay, Buhari is from the page of security. Buhari is a former general. You get my Buhari comes, but economy is suffering. Security itself is not well. Is better.
Is it?
Like, well, looking at the fight with Boko Haram, at least it's well. I know it's not great, but it wasn't as rampant as we used to hear. Now, what I'm trying to say is, even the person bandits, we're still hearing it. Now we put somebody there who we assume it has the know-how for security.
The same way you're looking at Mogalu's CV.
So while we're making an excuse, while we're trying to bash the man for being just economical, for being just
happened to somebody like Ezekwesili,
exactly,
also seasoned in
that's what I was going to say. Ezekwesili is championing bring back our girls.
A seasoned economist.
She was Minister of Finance under Jonathan.
Minister for Education, Vice President World Bank.
Exactly. She has more qualifications than Mogalu on the basis of finance. I am not putting them
against each other to say one is better.
No. What
I am saying in my choice now.
I know.
That's why I mentioned Mogalu.
That's what we are asking. Why?
Now, for example, if Ezekwesili
was a man.
Yes.
She would have.
The fact that she was
she would get my vote now.
For girls,
yes,
in Nigeria, she held the protest for so long, and it eventually
made impact.
Yes.
So why is she not your best candidate?
That protest. Michelle Obama was supporting that protest. A bunch of other people.
This woman has more. This woman, aside
I know these things. I'm in support. I am in support. I am just saying my choice based on my opinion is. I'm not saying she's not qualified. I'm saying both of them. Okay, thank you for saying this now.
She has been within the government.
Mogalu has been in the government. Not to speak against him, but it was in CBN.
CBN. You cannot compare CBN. Just
you know what? Let's hold CBN. She was in World Bank.
different.
Let's use that. CBN, World Bank.
Had 2 different parastatals. Have been in the private sector. Have been in...
Okay, I'm voting for her. If that's what you want to hear.
No.
My point being, I am not speaking against her. I am speaking against picking from
what
the only 2 that we think are the suitable. It's like picking kettle and pot.
No.
When literally there's electricity, you can literally just...
No.
Yeah, as Morgan said, I mean...
Nobody is picking between APC and PDP.
But
APC
Nigerians
and PDP are the ones ruling. They are the major party and they are doing whatever. Nigerians haven't said they are going to vote for either one of them.
How about we have a Leicester candidate? A candidate that pulls off what Leicester did. An underdog. And
that's why I said I wish there was somebody else. Mogalu isn't the best. Dorotoye isn't the best. Unfortunately, Ezekwesili, in as much as she seems to be the most qualified, she's only going to get it. Why? Because she's a woman. I wish there was honestly a male Ezekwesili. That would have
that
flawed
statement. I would be against that statement because I literally don't want there to be a male Ezekwesili. I want Ezekwesili as the woman to be.
No.
See,
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that because we are in a system, we're in a country that, till today, one of the major cause of the problems we are fighting is a girl child education. Yes. Nigeria does not see women as equals. If this was the case, Ezekwesili would be there.
I mean, I've had interactions with women from the southeast.
Nigeria's backbone is on women.
Where the presidential candidate is from, and they will be saying things like, why we should be running for president.
Derogatory statements.
Man, and
if this was out of it, she would have been the best. Flawlessly. I honestly wish.
She's passionate about
exactly
to grow, to be honest.
So why aren't we Nigerians? This goes back to my statement. If we get up and say, I know. I've been in the bus. I've been in the bus where people were supporting dumb
education.
They're making dumb.
People are not sharing their dumb opinions
about politics. And in my mind, I'm like, are you kidding me? But I wanted to speak up, but in my mind, I'm like, my brother, speaking up to people who are not intelligent. Sometimes you can enlighten them, but sometimes some people don't want to be enlightened. They want to stick to their opinions.
Or your light is even darkness
to them. Because it now seems like you're just I too know, rather than they feel like they know more. My point being, we have watched the presidential debate. Now, yes, there are other candidates.
Hopefully there will be part 2.
There are other candidates who weren't invited, but we have listened to those who were invited and they've spoken. We have options. Enough of picking one of 2 evils or lesser of 2 evils.
I have said.
Can we just get it? Like, if we literally go out and
see, it now depends on individual people and their ability to be understanding and have common sense that actually want in Nigeria to go. I would vote for Ezekwesili based on,
if we have an election where Ezekwesili and Mogalu are like the top 2, like the votes are high, it will scatter the political system. Because APC and PDP will then realize that, okay, so we don't have the people anymore. It's not just about money. And I'm saying that we have 1 and 2 and then one of them wins and 2 of them come together and say, okay.
The moment that even happens, they even stop spending so much
on elections. Yes.
This falls back to having people not being educated. There's a whole lot of bans on social media. It's the middle class and the upper class that get to say this. The lower class are not on social media. The lower class are the ones that are going to vote. How do the lower class get information concerning the election? Through the radio. They go to newspaper stands and based on people that just... Now, the people on radio, where do they get their information from? Most of these media houses are co-sponsored by some of all these political parties. So they are only going to say what they want to say to influence the listeners. So now you're telling poor people who don't really have a mind of their own what you want them to hear. And these people are going to carry it with their less informed mind to other people and spread the gist. So this is my opinion.
This is my opinion. Don't vote for APC. Don't vote for PDP. Vote for somebody who is credible, who has convinced you, who not by adverts, not by we have no options, not by the policies you have listened to. Before you vote for a candidate,
the track record.
Before you vote for a candidate, look at their track record. Don't vote because you don't have an option. Enough of I don't have an option. We have an option. Listen to the policies.
It may literally not be the best option. It's a start. It's a start by letting these people know.
We listened to Lagos governorship election. Everybody knows Badamosi was
the ideal governor.
So enough of if Nigeria was perfect, Nigeria can't be perfect, but we can only get there by putting the right person there. Let's start by vote. See, the only way to break that system is to vote for the candidate who is not in the system. Change it
with you.
Change it.
It starts with you.
That's it.